we're delighted to have with us Ms. Sujitha Rajagoplan as our first guest speaker. Hello, ma'am.
Hello.
She is an ex-investment banking professional with 15 plus years of experience in the industry and has managed a total of 18 billion US dollars worth of client assets. She has an operations expertise in mergers and acquisitions, and she is currently the co-founder of an e-learning platform which offers technical courses in vernacular languages. We're delighted to have you here, ma'am, and I welcome you on behalf of everyone here. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Hazel. And hello, everyone. Thank you to the organizing committee for having me on this talk. So I'm Sujitha Rajagoplan. Before I start, I hope everyone is safe and taking care of yourself and your loved ones. These are hard times, but I personally feel we'll surpass through this. Right. So I started my career with Goldman Sachs in 2006, fresh out of college, as in I was studying when I got this placement offer. I remember when I was making notes to talk about investment banking and career opportunities, the one thing that in that time had struck me about Goldman Sachs or what investment banking was, when they came to campus, unlike other companies, they did not have any mandatory qualifications as they stated. So they were open for all streams. And that is one thing that really, really triggered with me, because I was pursuing my BA in psychology. So I sat to the interviews, the orientations, it was the typical rounds, your HRs, your technicals. That time it was called critical thinking and problem solving. And it happened. So I entered the world of investment banking without even knowing actually what investment banking was all about then. Having stepped into the role of an analyst, we will go through the various hierarchies that's very common in investment banking, but we'll speak about how I transitioned. So today, if you see, investment bankings are the most, they add like the crowning glory of any financial corporation. So what are they doing? How are they treated? Were they different from commercial banks? All this is something that the company also invested in teaching me, or people who came from non-financial backgrounds. So as we finished that, we finished the orientations, we were put into different teams, enough of training on the job and off the job, everything pushed through. That is when I started focusing to understand what are investment bankings, how do they evolve? One thing that I would suggest for this group is a good read is The Banker's Panic of 1907, how it contributed to the entire evolution, seeing the phase of the Great Depression as well, and how these institutions became those extremely lucrative profit-making companies of the world today. To give you some numbers, I think as of April 2021, the net worth revenue of the topmost investment banking companies is close to 2 lakh crores, if I'm not wrong. Yes, that's $2 trillion. So how do they make these companies? How do these companies make these money? How are they able to provide those kind of perky salaries or those kind of perks and benefits while hiring good talent, right? Investment bankings are the primary backbones for any financial organizations. They act basically on, apart from mergers and acquisitions or into retail marketing or financial remodeling, they act on the basis of all the revenues that they make for a client. It's as simple as that. A client comes in, they have a lot of money, they want to double their money. These advisories come in between. They also have the finance, they also have the advisory roles, and their money is made through simple word called fees. So the kind of fees, the kind of commissions that is withdrawn every time a client hits a good benchmark, once the stakeholders are happy, the partners are happy, investment banks will flourish, right? So I'm going to keep this short as well so that I can try to answer most of your questions, and then we'll go towards the career opportunities, especially focusing on engineering students, because I think my audience is very much that. So personally, like I said, apart from having an educational degree, these companies started opening their doors for non-financial background talent as well. So like mentioned, being the most profitable and profit-making kind of territories that they draw, investment banking handles three different kind of categories. There are three different types actually. So the ones that make the money, the bulk management, wealth management, like your Goldman Sachs, Credit Suisse, UBSs, these guys are classified as companies. So they have evolved over the years of 150 or 200 years. Because one important story you will read if you read about the bankers' panic is about JP Morgan, and how one person, that is JP Morgan himself, assisted throughout the Great Depression times and took the company to stable grounds. So, and even Goldman Sachs actually started by a father-in-law and son-in-law who actually sold commercial papers during those times of early 1900s, right? So bulk management markets is what your big companies will do. So they have a lot of corporations, they are backed by governments, they have a lot of private wealth. And when I say a lot of, I mean they provide advisories. So these are all from a long time period that this advisories has been paid, and they've kept these clients. So client is important to them. They have a lot of cultural principles as well. The second aspect is your mid-market wealth managers. So these are very limited corporate finance advisory roles. For instance, in India, I think it was KPMG Corporation Finances. So they primarily do audit also, but they also provide financial solutions and remodelings. And finally, are your boutique markets, which is nothing but a group of maybe retired investment bankers coming together, starting a company. In India, it's a little minimal. However, in the Western countries, it's quite a common thing to do boutique markets. One common example is your Roth Capital. So this is the structure of how investment banks or investment banking becomes a sector of the bigger financial corporations, right? Now moving on to how the hierarchy and the structure falls. In the world of finance, you're the bank. You hold the money, you have to be a bank holding company. This was recently also visited as an act after the Lehman crisis, where any company is a bank holding company, you should have 25% of the shares within yourself or of two or more banks as well. This is only to avoid any kind of proprietary trading and arbitrages that can happen. So I'm sure most of you would have watched Wolf of Wall Street and the insider jobs. The hierarchy of these companies break down as your front office, your middle office, and your back office, which is your operational. Personally, according to me, the back office, which is operational, is the backbone of any investment banking company. Your front office basically takes care of your bringing in the sales, make sure that the mergers, the acquisitions are handled well, merchant banking gets placed well. So all your negotiations, climbing in that circle. Then comes your middle office. Your middle office plays the primary role of treasury management and something known as compliance and legal. So the rules and regulations that is there out there for the market will be handling to make sure that there is a seamless flow of this kind of trading, of any trading that is happening, and that all the rules and regulations are being followed. And the back end, which is the very operationally dynamic role, this handles all the asset management decisions. This is exactly when operations, your technology also falls through. So that is how the three blocks of an investment banking works. I spent majority of my time in the operational and as well as front office when I was 2 years, right? Now, moving to hierarchy to understand when you get into an investment banking firm, how does that work? Most of the investment banking firms today, functional in India at least, are supposed to be flat hierarchies. So you won't really see cubicles. It'll be all transparent out there, sitting with your MDs, handling everything along with them, management and your colleagues and your new joiners, contingents, everybody. So it's very quite interesting in that way as well. So from a hierarchy perspective, you have analysts. Analysts are treated as the most important resource because this is talent that gets hired based on certain criteria that's already met by team members who need manpower in their team, or talent, innovation, creativity. So all this pool of analysts get put together, and there is no differentiation there, right? Because everyone starts at that group level itself. So analysts spend about a tenure of 1 to 5 years. And I can also say that it's very, very importantly placed for your performance also. So performance on the job and your networking. We'll come to that level later when we are addressing career options and career opportunities. So analysts, tenuity of 1 to 5 years. Then there is a promotional graph where you are either an associate or a tech specialist. That is when it gets split into whether the individual is interested in people management or process management or anything, creating something different for the business. So you can either become an associate or you get challenged to become a technical specialist, right? The tenuity there is, in addition to the 1 plus 5, could be 2 to 4. Then you have the role of a vice president. Again, that is split as a team manager or a senior specialist. And then you get opportunities of becoming an MD, stay an MD for a long time. You get to become a partner as well with the firm. So this is how usually a hierarchy in an investment bank has functioned, and majority of them follow this scale itself, right? I'm going to take a small pause here in case there are any questions so far. And also I can refer my notes. Great. So today, the total GDP across the globe and the contribution of investment bankings has been about 18%, right? And now addressing or coming towards, our career options. And let's face it, right? Our careers are part of, like majorly they are a large part of our adult life. So what do we do? Where is it going? How will we get there? Now, since we are all talking about investment banking and that being the most profit-making company, it's quite obvious that the talent, that the kind of recruitment that they will do for a job is expected to meet certain specific sectors. So working in an investment bank, personally for me, has helped me to expand my options in investments, my own private life, like private management life, or the reason why I quit after 13 years of working in the company is to start my own enterprise. So all these, apart from the usual reasons of the pay scales and the benefits and the different insurances, or the opportunities, and I think your short-term assignments, long-term assignments internationally, these are also some of the very crucial things that an investment bank provides an individual from the very base that, and I could personally understand. And having no background in financial and still having survived, I think anyone can do it as well, because as important are degrees and education academical qualifications are, so is how you can bring something to the table for these firms, because they are looking to hire in the space of innovation or creativity or business thought process. And how you place yourself is also key, much before understanding how to get into a firm or an investment banking firm, right? So being prepared by understanding the company, its investments, its revenue model, what are those economic indicators that's out there, what is the current news that they are working to, what are they working on, what were they working on, what are the losses they had in the market. So all this is something that's very preparatory levels for us to start focusing on. It's nothing like, I personally am not a strong believer, although it does good with regards to having an MBA in hand, because having worked alongside with individuals who have held MBAs has been something, they have spent enough time doing the same kind of role and tasks I have also done. But it gives an edge because they come with an understanding. They come with an understanding because I did not know what mutual funds was until I was put into a process and I started doing them, like reconciling mutual funds and going through the draft agreements. Versus maybe a person who did MBA came with that theoretical knowledge already. But the application, the company will definitely give it on the job. So somebody who's prepared to start taking that, I personally feel that yes, you can also do this job, right? Now, moving on, I think understanding that banks today, investment banks are hiring thousands every year, right? Because they are going around the globe. They are looking for talent. I think the start was always for maybe accountancies or financial backgrounds, CAs. MBA was not very flourishing during those times. Then now is when they've started expanding it to every different field and talking more specifically about engineering, right? Which again, during the roles I played, very closely worked with the technology team, and it is the critical center for any investment bank business, because that is the kind of quantitative strategy the company needs, high functioning algorithms that you need, because today trading happens in millions and zillion dollars within seconds. So someone has to be there to build that software or that kind of impeccable, I think, programmings and different languages, right? So traditionally, yes, engineers who are working in investment banking were expected to be quantitative strategists. Their skills around cybersecurity, ensuring ethical hacking, or software engineering, and also system engineering. So that is how it was traditionally for engineers who wanted to apply. But during the recent times, at least in the past 5 years, it has changed from there, where today the most pressing engineering problems, how can someone help create massively scalable softwares and systems? Important, yes. However, providing solutions to those, providing certain creative and innovative expansion in this enterprise is also important, right? So when we were seeing that there was a stream of hiring that was happening in the world of or roles for project management, where I think ideally your skills should be communication, stakeholder management, ensuring that you know the start and an end of a project, understanding the life cycle of the different trading systems that's happening in the company, talking to operational people, talking to front end, involving in sales and negotiations, being part of making those decisions when a company is handling a remodeling or even handling an acquisition or a merger. So when I was working with one of the fund administration services mergers that was happening, I remember clearly working with our technology team, and there was one person specifically for project management itself. So there comes a very, very huge requirement in that world of project management for anybody. And I think anyone with engineering interest, the basic linear mathematical interest also can find an opportunity there. Right. The second thing, and this is my favorite actually, if ever I get a chance, I would love to do add-on programs to maybe certify myself also as a business analyst. Right. I don't know if it's true, but I've heard that the second best paid after neurosurgeons in the world are business analysts. So your SQLs, understanding agiles, all this is important for you to place yourself as a business analyst. And there are many add-on programs today. So that kind of gives you that quick turnover time. You no longer have to wait for finishing a degree of 2-3 years, and all that money that you will be spending to back yourself with that degree, versus today when an investment banking firm or a financial firm can actually also help you once you enter the firm. Those are the perks that they provide as well. Funding for higher education is something that's very, very adding a feather to your cap with an IB, right? Help creating new businesses. This directly is involved with regards to how the trading desk take decisions, right? How the sales and the negotiation teams, how the business side basically gets in touch with operations and technology. It's just telling that, hey, there is a new client, they need these kind of strategies. We can strategize. Where can we help create more business? Where are those loops that your people can help us? So creating more businesses, helping more, creating more businesses, right? As a business manager, that is another opportunity for everybody to actually look for a role like that. Then yes, product management. So the services of a company, the products that they are handling, the kind of wireframings that they have, doing market research, understanding the market, the economic indicators, how they are functioning. All these part together, a product manager role also gets opened up and are also available and an option today that is highly, highly regarded and looked to fill with good talent for. Strategy plannings is something. And the last but not the least, again, one of something that I think is a great deal of talent you need is for design thinking. It's got nothing to do with, I think, how you learn in your textbooks, right? That is completely based on your innovation, the kind of prototypes that you can create and help your management understand that, hey, this is where the product can do well. I think these, in a nutshell, are some of those core areas today that engineering students or engineering backgrounds can get, a seamless opportunity as well. Something that today you can back yourself with your add-on programs, or look for the fact that you might have any kind of experience also over here. Even if you do not have experience, this is something that you can always keep the back of your mind to upskill yourselves, right? So today, again, it's competitive out there, thousands of students passing out from different streams. If it is not a professional side of your careers that you're choosing, you're looking to place yourself across all these jobs, right? Apart from all this comes the very, very basic, what can I do, right? Wanting to work in an investment banking firm, however, not equipping yourself to understand what are the kind of jobs I can get, what are the kind of roles that would be expected from me, what are the kind of skills that I should be calling my strengths and looking to upskill myself, extremely important. Because in the end, every institution like this will also have a review. They will also have their performance grades. They have a 360-degree transparent review. So all this becomes part of you as a person placing yourself in a job in any industry that you might be thinking is a small deviation through, right? So in a nutshell, or overall, to summarize, having a balanced financial knowledge. I mean, I say financial knowledge, not like read the economic times throughout, but understanding those strategies, or the kind of, what is the Sensex, or how does investing work? We've heard so much about mutual funds and private equity. Like them, you have private wealth management, you have institutional fund management, trust management. How do corporations do that? The difference of, our commercial banks and how a Goldman Sachs works. Both are supposed to be, ultimately a banking sector. How are they different, right? Client management skills is something that's, I think personally, every year of my tenurity, I have always got that in my review as well. So managing clients, understanding the roles that you can play to place a client from the time they enter, from the time you set up their investment strategies, speak to them, till the end of the term of their cycle is done. Very important. Capital management risk, capital management products. I think we spoke on mutual funds, equities. Then you have hedge funds. How do hedge funds help clients? How is investment banking supporting hedge funds? I know these are all jargons, but these are important jargons where when you are able to understand, you will also understand that if you get into a role like that, whether it's front end, the middle office, or the back office operational, all these three will be associated to all these products, all these services as well, because these are services trending in the market, which every single IB is also looking to invest in. Ultimately, it's how to ensure that a client's revenue, the stakeholders' expectations, the partners' shares, everything will be circulated in the market to do nothing. So anyways, I was reaching towards the end of it. So like I mentioned, preparing yourself, equipping yourself with the kind of research that a company's revenue model, from the company's revenue model, till, being part of its newsletters also has been helpful, because throughout the year, companies are looking to hire not only full-time employees, right? There are also internship opportunities. There are a lot of volunteering opportunities. There is something known as a contingent sponsorship. So where a person gets placed in a certain job opportunity, or rather they're given a certain job opportunity within a field that is not associated to their education maybe, but just to see how by placing that person there, they can do the job or not. And if they like it, the person's always welcome back, or they will try to assess the kind of talent the person has and see if they can be placed in different departments or divisions in that company. Yes, upskilling. I keep repeating this was some of those key competencies that is required, because today, unlike how it was 10 years back, it's different. The competitions have changed, the time has changed. So ensuring that you can upskill yourself in the side, adding values in the world of very simple, right? Excel, very, very simple, of Excel, macros, understanding how docs work, your presentation skills. All these are upskilling yourself as well, understanding email management, email etiquettes. These are just simple things that you can always ensure will give you an added feather, whether it's getting a job here or getting a job in the future, wherever you have a liking for a company. Programming languages, any different programming languages that you need to ensure that review it and revise it and keep it at the back of your mind. Capital risk management products are also very important, and these are quick to learn. And I've always felt that, as I have completed most of my leadership and development programs online, thanks to Udemy a lot of those times, they've just helped us keep this as my key proficiencies no matter where I go. Yeah. Third, and the most important, is have a career network. If it is the people of, whether it's investment banking, whether it's financial industries, whether it's the areas of interest for you people itself, ensure that you have a network. You speak to those kind of people. Not saying that they have to be your role model and you get your aspirations should meet them, but at least when you have them in your network, you are aware of the opportunities, the kind of choices that is out there for you to talk. When there is an opening, from internship to contingencies or full-time job opportunities, there are roles where they swap talent as well. One company can ask for talent from another company and they swap them. So those are the things that's available as well. And last but not the least, follow the company of your choice, whether it's social media today, which they have taken on to as well, or whether it's out there in your e-business news, right? Follow the company, understand what they are doing in the recent times. What are the losses? What are the profits that they are making? Yesterday alone, Goldman Sachs was in a Instagram live chat with Forbes, where they are supporting a program called 10,000 Women Initiative. In this, all they do is they fund good small scale enterprises and help them come into the mainstream. So all these are opportunities, and once you can start stepping into those opportunities, right, you will also be aware of not only assessment of what you can develop on, but what you can also contribute to the firm. So I think in summary, the traditional way of hiring based on my qualification, what I come with, yes, education, qualification, very important. Please don't requote me anywhere. But personally, for me, it has been that from arts and psychology, moving to financial, handling mergers and acquisitions, then leading learning and development, and then starting my own enterprise. It has been a different scale altogether. So that is why I'm a huge believer that yes, degrees matter. However, there is no that strict requirement today. Today, it's all about how well a fit you are for a corporate, whether it's knowing their culture, whether it's supporting towards your own career development, being skilled, being adaptable, teachable. I think these three things for especially when you're entering into the world of career placements and investment banking is quite important. With that, I'm going to pause in case there are any questions. Great. So I'm going to ask the crowd a question. How does AUM work with investment banks? Asset under management. Yeah. Just another additional information, right? Like how I mentioned, these guys make the big guns make their money with their fees and their revenues that they generated. Asset management is the most important service that majority of the bulk wealth managers today make, right? So your asset under management is the core sector for them to even calculate the revenue that they make after their expenditures, their profits and losses, and their different business strategies and the kind of investment that they have made for the company to grow and develop. So I think that's another good read for this team to understand how asset management has helped investment banks grow as well.
Ma'am, we've got a question in the chat.
Sure.
So I've heard that vacancies in investment banking come up and are filled up mostly through referrals. So is it difficult to join by walk-in interviews?
That's a very good question. Okay. So investment bankies have two strategies, right? One, when they're looking to hire from an analyst role, it will be through placements. It will be through your headhunters, your consultancies, etc. Referrals is something that comes within the firm. So when I'm placed, I have a 4-year experience. If I need to refer somebody for a certain job, it could be from an analyst, an associate, a vice president. I can refer an MD as well, given that they have they also have the kind of experience they come with. One very good thing today companies have started is for Goldman Sachs, it's called career.gs. I can reconfirm that after this conversation. So this is for all your new grads, fresh grads, grads looking for internship. Internship is something you can apply in your second year of college as well, or your second year semesters, where after 1 year, you're ready to join the firm. So you can directly apply now. So even JP Morgan has that opportunity, Credit Suisse, UBS, State Street. So you can always check online at their official websites for new joinees to place their resumes. So for Goldman, it's called careers.gs. All you have to do is give your email ID. You'll have to explain which part of which degree you're doing right now, how many more years left for your course, and they'll ask you to present your resume as well. And like I said, if you have a network, if you have friends or colleagues or neighbors or anybody out there who's working in this firm, it will take some time. So it'll take a couple of months, perhaps, build that network, understand from them what kind of job roles can be there, and then see if they can refer you. So again, you need to make sure that you push that moment, the bell as well. So walk-in interviews, very rarely now. And also given the present situations, that's changed completely. Unlike previous times, there is no walk-in interviews anymore for investment banks.
Thank you, ma'am. Another question that has come up is about the stand of like investment banks with respect to cryptocurrency. So, yeah, that's another question that has come up. Yeah.
All right. Cryptocurrency has gone through a lot of controversial discussions as well, right? Now that's a product, right? Somebody developed that product, and obviously it was more like you invest today, 15 years down the road, you will double the money, and it became completely virtual money. So there's a lot of regulations that is going to come on cryptocurrency trading as well. The ones who did this 2 years back made all the money, yes, and that is exactly why there are going to be more regulations. But if you are somebody who's interested in understanding how to invest and how to do that whole doubling of your money, I personally would say that you do some kind of a research or add on a course to yourself to understand capital markets, right? Personally, from before cryptocurrency, there is something known as hedge funds. Hedge funds is, high risk, greater the returns. Your TDSs, I know we've heard these word in your government banks, but time deposits are something that is very good for investments as well. So I never worked on the product because I quit by then. I quit in 2018. So cryptocurrencies is going to go through a lot of regulations, though, before they become like an investment product in the market.
Thank you, ma'am. Another question is about the CFA exam and whether that would be a good like add-on to what we're doing right now, that is BTech.
Yeah, that's a very good question as well. So some companies will definitely help you carry this on in parallel. So they will definitely be supportive, and they will give you that kind of flexibility. However, if you are someone who's joining newly and require, because CFA is something that needs a lot of attention, right? Whether it's your studies, whether it's going for your articleship. So all that is going to take some flexibility that the person will need. So if a company requires you to work for 8 to 10 hours, by the way, that usually is a time frame that investment banks will require, because globally is what in India they are supporting. So you will be helping out from the Japanese market to the Australian market to the American to the UK. So your time can differ as well, right? Unless it's in the world of technology, but there also you will have backing up and handing over. So if that kind of flexibility is needed, I'm not sure how much you will take that hand in hand as you get placed. However, once you go into the world of investment banking and maybe place yourself, then the company can also support you through it. But yes, it's an added feather. However, it's an added feather for something that you will see the returns after 4 or 5 years of maybe working there, right? So pursue it, yes, but not all companies could be flexible to let you give that kind of focus and attention to that.
Thank you, ma'am. And another thing is the role of data science and not just in investment banking, but in the finance industry in general. So if you could elaborate a bit on that.
The requirement of data science, yes, like I said, is very critical, because the kind of algorithms, right, from your high frequency trading algorithms, still what are the softwares that can be placed out there? There is no kind of hacking happening or anything, right? The world of data science is something that is being pursued for. So yes, very good opportunity. However, again, in streaming it to our world, right, as someone who will be joining as a fresher, the first few years of your life will be spent by ensuring that you will become the resource for the company. So you bringing that kind of a talent and that kind of a knowledge and the intellectual property of data science, you will be valued once you start on the job. So the importance of having this is important. But again, usually the companies place you on the performances of what you bring with you. So it growing into variable, multiple dimensions is great. So yeah.
So I guess that's it. If you guys have any more questions. Yeah, that's it, I guess. So we can wind up. Thank you, ma'am, on the behalf of InvestorCET and everyone here for taking out time from your schedule and joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us for this wonderful talk as well. And before we leave, I also want to inform you about our next session, which is scheduled for 18th this month. And so be sure to join in for that as well. Once again, a big thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, everyone. Have a nice day.